Welcome to the Maine Old Cemetery Association's video on how to clean a gravestone. Let's get started. Before you clean the stone, seek permission from the town office, cemetery association, a descendant, or if it's on private property, the landowners. After you get permission to work on the stone, the next step would be to make sure you're working on a safe stone. The first thing you want to consider is the stability of the stone. If it's leaning at too large of an angle, we don't recommend cleaning that stone, or if it's tippy or wobbly. The next thing you want to look for are any major fractures in the stone, because the stone could collapse while you're cleaning it. The third thing you want to look at, particularly for marble stones like we're going to work on today, is something called sugaring. If you take your fingers and you kind of brush them on the stone and it creates dust and you see little pieces coming off, that's what we call sugaring, and we don't recommend cleaning that stone. If you're working on a slate stone, you want to look for any delamination. If there's delamination, don't clean the stone. And here's an example of what that looks like. Finally, if it's a zinc stone, don't clean it. Next, we'll show you some examples of some stones in this cemetery that we wouldn't clean. Here's a stone we wouldn't clean today because of the angle that it's leaning at. And here's another example of a leaning stone that we wouldn't clean today. Finally, this stone is a bit of an illusion because it is standing straight, but when you put just a little bit of pressure on it, you can see that the stone moves. We wouldn't clean this stone today. Now let's talk about some tools that you'll use cleaning a gravestone. The first thing that you'll need is a lot of clean water. Using a garden sprayer is a great tool, which can be found at any hardware store. If the cemetery doesn't have a source of water for you to use, you can also bring a portable container. This is just an accordion-style camping container that I picked up at Rennie's. You can use gloves, either disposable or gardening gloves, and some safety glasses. Using water alone will do a lot of cleaning on the gravestone, but if you find that it has a lot of biological growths, we recommend the product D2. For your brushes, you'll want to use a soft nylon brush or a natural bristled brush like horsehair. These you can find right at the Dollar Tree. These are some more brushes that we use for detail work, like the lettering and the numbering on the stone. These also come from a dollar store. This is a very soft plastic automotive putty scraper. This is great for removing a lot of lichen, which you'll see on the back of this stone when we film that later. These can be found at the Harbor Freight store. Another great tool for detail work are wooden kitchen skewers or craft sticks. A bucket will help you keep all your tools together. Just keep your bucket cleaned out as you're working on the stone. And finally, for your comfort, a knee pad or a kneeler would be great. Now that you've secured permission and you've picked a safe stone to work on, the final step before you start cleaning is to document your work. Before and after photos are an important and rewarding way to document the work that you've completed. And finally, you may find that the MOCA individual burial marker record on the website is helpful for your written documentation. Now let's review the steps for cleaning the stone. We'll start by spraying all sides of the stone with water, and we'll use our yellow scraper to remove surface, lichens, and dirt. We are going to use D2 on this stone today, so our third step will be to spray all sides of the stone with D2 and let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. After that, we're going to grab our brushes and, working in circular motion, start from the bottom up and work all 4 sides of the stone. And the final step is to rinse the stone with a generous amount of water. Now that you've finished cleaning your stone, you'll want to take your after photos. If you use D2 on the stone like we did today, it will continue to improve as the product works over the coming weeks and months. Thank you for tuning into this video. We hope you found it helpful. As always, nothing beats learning in person, so please come to one of our MOCA workshops where we work with a professional conservator to learn best practices when working with historic gravestones. Until next time.